State Freeway. So we're parallel to this vehicle. You can see CHP closely behind, as well as the Pasadena PD helicopter. Earlier, we were able to see the driver here as we come up on some of these overcrosses here. It makes us lose it for a second. But earlier, we did focus in on that driver. We were able to see him on the passenger side. We're traveling on the passenger side of the vehicle, 5 freeway northbound. You can see how he's just blazing by some of those cars. We're clocking him right now at about 75 miles per hour.
All right, and at peak speed, we were talking 90 miles per hour here. This was a suspect initially wanted on a narcotics call, but again, there is word, Megan, that this guy could possibly be armed.
Yes, and that's what we heard. And, you know, they always assume that. I mean, they always want to de-escalate the situation, but officers are always come with the
Okay, seem to have lost Megan's signal here for a second, but just to recap here, CHP now following that car there on the 5 northbound into the Newhall Pass. Wide open freeways at peak speeds at 90 miles per hour. At last check, Megan was clocking that driver there, a solo driver there, into that black truck at about 70 miles per hour. We seem to have gotten Megan's signal back right now. Again, continuing this chase here on the 5 northbound. And we saw some CHP cruisers behind. They are still there, Megan?
Derek, hold on. Yeah, I am. I just got to make sure I got the right vehicle. We had to, yeah, look at that. I got two black pickup trucks right here, and then one ahead. Yeah, exactly. Then one ahead. So it really, they make it easy to find. It's this guy right here. It's the guy who's driving really fast and recklessly. So we're still traveling about 90 miles per hour, 5 northbound, approaching Cal Grove. California Highway Patrol following this pursuit here. Looks like we're going to be going I-5 northbound, continuing up into the Santa Clarita area, most likely the Castaic area as well. Sometimes we see these pursuits travel north on the 5 and take it all the way up into Kern County.
And interestingly enough, Megan, this began down in Pasadena, so this person's quite a far ways from home.
Yeah. Yeah, and again, we don't know where this person lives, resides, or where this person came from. What I can tell you is you brought up a very good point. That's where dispatchers come in to place. Dispatchers are they are relaying information and making a lot of phone calls right now. That they ran that license plate, so they know the registered owner of this vehicle. They're probably making phone calls right now, trying to find out who this driver is, what the circumstances are. They're also contacting other agencies in this area, Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department. If this vehicle gets off on the surface streets, it'll be in LA County Sheriff's jurisdiction. So the dispatchers may be doing a lot of work behind the scenes that we are unaware of right now. But we can see California Highway Patrol, lead agency on this pursuit on the I-5 northbound. As you come up on Cal Grove right now, speeds looks like almost 100 miles per hour, about 95 miles per hour is what I'm hearing from law enforcement officials.
And law enforcement pretty strategic in terms of handing the pursuit off. Pasadena now to CHP as it's on the freeway, and if it hits surface streets again, the LA County Sheriff's Department. And we saw Pasadena PD with its chopper in the air not too long ago. Are they still in pursuit as well?
Yeah, Pasadena PD is still there. In fact, they do have the police helicopter. I'll kind of show you some of the units here. I'm going to shoot behind me right now. These looks like California Highway Patrol right here. We may still have some Pasadena units over here. They do have their law enforcement helicopter. Right. They are relaying some of that information down to the units below. But regardless of the way this ends, that person will be going back to Pasadena. They will transfer that suspect into custody with Pasadena. But right now, we're on the I-5 freeway northbound. Next major street should be coming up on Lyons, and left lane looks like he's still traveling at about let's clock him about 80 miles per hour. And
again, pretty much in this fast lane here on the freeway with no close calls. This is how it's been since you first got on it, Megan, right?
I'm sorry, say that again, please.
I said he's primarily been in the fast lane here on the freeway with very few, if any, close calls. Is this how it's been since you got overhead?
Fortunately, no close calls. I'm trying to zoom in here so if we can see what this person is doing. A lot of times you can tell by their body language if they're agitated or if they're on the phone. You can see him moving around. He has something in his hand, reaching for something, and that could be concerning because law enforcement officials said he may have a weapon. We don't know if that's a weapon or not, but again, law enforcement officers don't want to take his chance. Look at him. So you see how he's hitting that thing, whatever it is. It might be a phone or something.
Right.
So that body language can tell you the mood that this person is in. The seems a little bit agitated. Right now, guys, I'm going to need you to give me some IFB here. NOC, if you can switch my IFB, I'm losing it. So, Michael, I won't be able to hear you. But the I-5 freeway northbound passing Lyons right now, speeds at about 75, 80 miles per hour.
Yeah, that was the most body
NOC,
language
can
that
I
we've
get some
seen here
IFB,
from
please?
that driver there in a while. Again, you saw the passenger window down. He picked something up in the passenger seat and began to bang it up against the console there, separating the driver and the passenger seat. Makes you wonder what that was, perhaps a phone. But apparently this is a narcotics suspect. That was the initial want. Pasadena PD with its helicopter in the air right now. We see a slew of CHP officers there in pursuit. Peak speeds anywhere from 90 to 100 miles an hour. One person inside of that truck. This all began with the Pasadena within Pasadena city limits there. And again, we have Megan back. And again, Megan, we're taking a look at that body language. He continues to pound whatever that is, perhaps a cell phone there on the center console.
Yeah, I think that's a cell phone there. You can see that person is extremely agitated. Michael, a lot of times we talk about that. We want to see what the mannerism is, what kind of thinking right now this person is doing. My pilot, Derek Bell, telling me about a spike strip. Did they do the spike strip yet, Derek? Okay, so that's a pretty successful spike strip. They've got 2 tires, so it's a successful spike strip. Now we're making an exit here off the I-5 freeway. This is Magic Mountain Parkway. Exiting Magic Mountain Parkway. Person is very agitated, and that's when these things escalate. When they get agitated, you can see him pulling over right now. Considering it's a possibly armed suspect, I'm going to kind of keep a wide shot here until I can see the visual of what this person is doing.
He cleared all lanes there,
Roger.
Megan, on that 5 freeway off at Magic Mountain Park, where there we see the CHP officers there. We see one out already. Doors open, and again, makes you wonder what the suspect's going to do right now.
Right. I'm going to keep a wide shot again because the body language, the suspect was so agitated. I don't know if he's going to come out and comply. I'm just going to cautiously put in, as long as I can see his hands. I see 2 hands right there. Okay, so that's good. We've got 2 hands right there showing that the suspect is complying with officers. He's coming out of the vehicle, male right there. So fortunately, he is just ending this pursuit. And he just decided, you know what, I'm just going to pull over here. I-5 freeway northbound at Magic Mountain Parkway. He has both hands up. Most likely, they're summoning him to, they're issuing commands. They're going to want him to lift that shirt up. They want to make sure that there's no weapons in his waistband.
There you go.
So you can see right there as he's lifting that T-shirt, he's going to take it off. They're going to want him to turn around, want to make sure that he doesn't have anything in the front of his pants as well. And what officers are basically doing is they're just trying to get a visual to make sure the suspect does not have any weapons on him. He's turning around. Then they're going to have him face away from the direction of officers. Usually they're going to have him do that. See, he's kind of confused. Back up in the direction towards the officers, and they're going to have him get to a safe spot, most likely get on his knees or lay fully down extended, and they will approach the suspect once they can clear that vehicle.
Makes you wonder if the agitation, Megan, came from the fact that that spike strip got 2 tires and he knew this was pretty much over.
Pretty much, that could have been the situation right now. So you see how this orchestrated movement is. They have him proned out. They've got that K9. We always see that K9 right there. That suspect does not want that K9 to be deployed. So he is complying with orders. Just because the suspect is proned out right now, they still need to clear that vehicle. So they're going to cautiously keep their eye onto that vehicle, simultaneously approach the vehicle and the suspect. These officers are going to subdue the suspect. Other officers are going to approach the vehicle to make sure nobody is inside that vehicle. But right now we're getting this one suspect in custody. Just need to make sure that nobody else is in this vehicle. Again, this is the I-5 freeway northbound exiting Magic Mountain Parkway, where this pursuit came to an end, originating out of the Pasadena area, an alleged narcotics suspect. Fortunately, this pursuit came to a safe ending.
Megan, all eyes on that dog here right now. That dog's tail is wagging, but boy, oh boy, it makes you wonder what that suspect's thinking right about now.
Exactly. That dog is barking, and that dog wants to get that suspect, get a piece of that suspect, and there's the handler right now holding that dog back. Those dogs are highly trained for situations like this, and that dog is that dog's overly excited, but being subdued by the canine handler there. Most likely, I believe that may be somebody from Pasadena PD. There's the suspect, but I'm going to show you. See how these officers cautiously still approach the vehicle? Dark tinted windows makes it a little difficult right now, but they want to make sure that vehicle is cleared. They're not going to assume. We we only saw one person in the car, but they need to get visual verification that nobody else is in this vehicle. Once they clear that vehicle, they're going to now deal with that suspect, and he will be handed over to Pasadena PD.
Yeah, just because that suspect, as you mentioned, Megan, is clear doesn't mean this thing is over just yet. Again, popping open that second door there, making sure they get the all clear before they wrap this thing up. Looks like they're giving the all clear there. But again, pretty tense situation there, Megan, from speeds of 90 to 100 miles an hour. We think this suspect may, in fact, be armed. This was an initial narcotics call out of Pasadena. Great work here by the CHP and those involved here this afternoon.
All right, guys. Good job. Good job. Those look like Pasadena units right there. K9 units, Pasadena. A couple of vehicles there from Pasadena as well. That suspect will be handed off to Pasadena here after all the proper paperwork is handled.
All right, so Megan, again, even though if CHP took over this chase from Pasadena because it was on freeways here, this suspect will be taken back to Pasadena, and Pasadena PD will handle it from this point on.
Most likely that is the case right now. They're just interviewing this suspect, getting the necessary information. Pasadena units are on scene. I'm not sure of the exact procedure of how this is handled, but usually they will hand that suspect off to Pasadena. We also had some unmarked units. I did hear about an unmarked unit in pursuit as well. Look at that Dodge Caravan. Believe that was with Pasadena PD. So again, it was some type of narcotic suspect. So we don't know the circumstances that led up to the pursuit. And alleged narcotic suspect, but subsequently the pursuit out of Pasadena along the Ventura onto the I-5 freeway northbound. Michael, we saw that body language of that suspect, very agitated, slamming his phone on the middle console. Then my pilot, Derek Bell, telling me that there was a successful spike strip, taking away 2 of those tires. Perhaps that was incentive enough for the suspect just to realize it's not worth it. Good thinking on behalf of the suspect. No injuries, no accidents, and so everybody is safe. Officers high-fiving each other for a good job here, and also dispatchers. We really got to give those people credit. They do a lot of work behind the scenes, and they keep a very monotone situation there so the officers don't get overly excited. They do a great job. They're doing a lot of information, getting a lot of information rather behind the scenes, and we always want to recognize their hard work as well. They're behind the scenes, and these officers are definitely on the front lines with this suspect.
Hey, Megan, before I let you go, of course, we want to talk about traffic. This is the 5 northbound at Magic Mountain Parkway. What's it looking like now?
Not too bad right now. I-5 freeway northbound, it looks pretty good here. Despite the police activity at the off-ramp, they'll probably clear that pretty soon. They like to make sure those lanes are clear, get everything off to the side. Also for officer safety. Oh, look at that. Channel 4 news van already on the scene right there.
That's how we do it.
So we're going to give you some ground coverage. Exactly. That's how we roll. So the I-5 freeway northbound at Magic Mountain Parkway, you can see all the police activity here. Really not a significant delay. All
right, Megan, as always, great work. We appreciate it. We appreciate the play-by-play here. And again, the narcotics suspect now in custody. CHP there in the back of that CHP cruiser marked 424. Of course, we will have much more coming up on the suspect and this chase on the NBC4 News coming up at 4 o'clock.
Okay, Booth, understand you're still with us. Roger that. Roger that. News Chopper 4 Alpha still showing this end of a police pursuit here out of Pasadena. All right, all right, all right. Okay, will do. Suspect is in that vehicle right over there, Unit 424 from the California Highway Patrol, where this pursuit came to an end just moments ago on the I-5 freeway northbound at Magic Mountain Parkway. The California Highway Patrol officers there in gold the dark uniforms from Pasadena PD. We also have some undercover units as well. They were involved in the pursuit. We heard it was an alleged narcotic suspect. We don't know the circumstances that led up to this pursuit. Look at them high-fiving each other, and, you know, rightfully so. It was a pursuit that didn't last too long. Nobody got injured, no officers injured, no suspects injured, or as well as any innocent bystanders. They were able to bring this pursuit to a safe ending here on the I-5 freeway northbound as we come up on Magic Mountain Parkway. A lot of police activity. Right now, they're trying to decipher all the activity here, who's going to take that suspect. Most likely that person will be handed off to Pasadena PD. I'm not too clear as far as the technicalities on what they need to do in a situation like that, but you can see the K9 unit right there at the end of the pursuit, that K9 handler and his dog. They were standing guard ready if that suspect decided to flee. Most likely that dog would have been let loose in order to apprehend the suspect. Smart decision on the suspect's part to just give up, and that's exactly what he did. The 5 freeway northbound as we come up on Magic Mountain Parkway here, you can see really not affecting traffic, still have police activity, and they're going to be clearing this here shortly. But the pursuit is over here in the Santa Clarita Valley on the I-5 Golden State Freeway. Roger that. Pics are still hot. We're still working it. Roger that. We're just watching the end of a pursuit here on the I-5 freeway northbound. Officers are debriefing, talking about the pursuit, talking about what the procedure, who's going to get the suspect here. Again, most likely going to be Pasadena, who's going to transport this suspect. They're calling for a tow truck to take this vehicle away. Again, that's all the technicalities here, but the I-5 northbound Magic Mountain Parkway is where this pursuit came to an end. Fortunately, no injuries. Suspect just decided to give up, which was a very good call on his part. Pulled over, got out of the vehicle, hands up, complied with officers' commands, and pretty much they took him into custody without further incidents. I-5 northbound Magic Mountain Parkway off-ramp. Okay, and that's the latest here from News Chopper 4 Alpha. You're watching live this high-speed pursuit that came to a safe ending in the Santa Clarita Valley on the I-5 freeway northbound. We'll bring you further information coming up on the NBC4 News F4.